Good morning, welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, April the 8th. We are here to look at the new releases published this week in thrillers and crime fiction. Hope you're having a good day. Bobby says, good morning. Did the bee finally leave your house? I must have. I didn't see it leave, but I wasn't hearing it anymore or seeing it, so huzzah. Elena says, good morning, Bobby and PK. Good morning, how you doing? She says, I am good. Just finished reading Watermoon by Samantha Soto Yambao. It was good. Yay, congratulations! Woo! Good job. Quick announcements. I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Wednesday night. Our next sprints are tomorrow night, Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2 hours. Jumping into thrillers and crime fiction. Heather Graham has a new one, A Cruise to Die For. Special Agent Chloe McMurray has been asked to do many things in the name of her job. Going undercover on a cruise ship leaving from her home port of Miami, however, is a new one. Not only that, but she's tasked with posing as the wife of her federal counterpart, Special Agent Wesley Law. Their investigation, a string of murders and suicides across 3 states that seem unrelated until they uncover a deadly technological connection. Every victim was an expert in technology and had some connection to Milestones, a mega corporation with ties to many industries, including the cruise industry. Chloe and Wesley must accept. I kissed Gio. I have fur on my lip. Must successfully go undercover as tech employees on the ship hosting the 10-year anniversary of the Milestones Cruise Company. A tough ask when the two have never met before. They'll infiltrate the technology events, investigate their fellow passengers, and try to uncover what's really going on. However, danger is never far behind. The killer can use tech to do the jobs without lifting a finger, and at sea there's no escape if their covers are blown. So that would be more romantic suspense, I guess. But it's Heather Graham. Robert Whitlow has a new one, Witness Protection, a legal suspense novel. All is finally good. John Tremaine has created a new life in Brunswick, Georgia, as part of the Federal Witness Protection Program after testifying against the former drug cartel he was involved with. Only his wife Sarah and a handler with the U.S. Marshal's Office know his true identity, and he is now the manager of a large commercial tree farm with a baby on the way. But when one of John's employees is arrested for allegedly smuggling drugs into the United States, he goes against his better judgment and inserts himself in the middle of the case, believing the man is an unsuspecting mole manipulated by sophisticated drug dealers. Kelly Quinn, a highly skilled litigator with an Atlanta law firm, has moved to Brunswick to work with her best friend from law school, hoping to rebuild her life after a painful divorce. She and her 2 children find a temporary home with her Aunt Carly, a woman whose great faith is making an impression on her new house guests. For the first time in a very long while, Kelly sees a future where she can find balance between the jobs she loves and the family she loves even more. New to the firm and in need of clients, Kelly agrees to represent John's employee. The unfolding investigation reveals layers of criminal activity and possible connections to John's past, putting everyone at risk of exposure and even death. Vanessa's Men by Jason Starr. Her fiancé vanished. Now her husband is gone. 19 years ago, Vanessa Rizzo's fiancé vanished without warning. No goodbye, no explanation, no trace. She built a new life around that mystery. A marriage, 2 teenage sons, a polished Upper East Side world that finally feels safe. Then she sees him on a Manhattan street. Days later, her husband is gone. Now the life Vanessa fought to protect is under scrutiny by the police, by her neighbors, by the people who think they know her best. The past she buried won't stay buried, and every answer leads to a more terrifying question. How many times can one woman lose the man she loves? And then it goes into blurbage. Two Truths and a Lie by Mark Stevens, second in the Flynn Martin thriller series. Lambasted for a tragedy caught live on camera, then lauded for her help capturing the elusive PDQ, A serial killer, Flynn Martin's career has reached new heights, but now the TV journalist and mother has much further to fall, and someone wants to push her over the edge. PDQ is behind bars for life and then some, but someone on the outside has picked up the killer's mantle. Flynn is neck-deep in an investigation when the copycat emerges, targeting her sources and delivering cryptic messages. It's clear that Flynn's stories are getting deadlier. This one proves no exception. A family of 4 has gone missing, leaving behind ties to New Hope Church more tangled than they appear. The dangerous web rivals the threat in Flynn's personal life. It's up to her to unravel each knot. Scandal, conspiracy, murder. Flynn hardly knows where to begin, and if her stalker has their way, she might not live to see the end. And I forgot to click on it. We'll give it its moment. Well, I take a glug of coffee. End of that row. Katie says, drive by, almost bit coffee. Back to work. Thank you. Troubles Turn Loose, A Carolina Tale, Book 3, by Susan M. Boyer. Private investigator Hadley Cooper has a knack for finding trouble, and this time it's wearing pearls. Life on Sullivan's Island is about as close to bliss as it gets. Bike rides at sunrise, cases that don't take headlines, and a romance with SLED agent Cash Reynolds that's finally on solid ground. They have one ironclad rule: never work the same case. When a wealthy Charleston socialite turns up dead, Cash charges her housekeeper, Bridget Donovan, with murder. But the young single mother has a formidable ally in Carolyn Talbot, a local matriarch who implores Hadley to help. Hadley's heart overrides her head, and her agreement with Cash is gone like confetti in a hurricane. Soon she's wading through a tangle of suspects, blue bloods with deadly secrets, her client's scheming ex-monster-in-law, and the greatest unknown country singer in Nashville. But Hadley's also grappling with a mystery closer to home, one that will shake everything she thought she knew about her family. To find justice for Bridget, Hadley will have to risk her heart, her life, and maybe her grip on reality. That's kind of the wrong cover. That's... oh well. They didn't ask me. Ava Roberts has a new one, The Summer House Murder. Sisters Esme, Piper, and Regina go on their annual visit to the remote summer house on Lake George, expecting a tense vacation. Each one has their own families to deal with, plus their own secrets to hide. Esme, the older sister, is desperate to keep up appearances after discovering her husband's infidelity with the one person who hurts her the most. Piper, the middle child, has a 4-month-old baby boy and is too tired to keep playing peacemaker to her siblings. Regina, the youngest, is a sarcastic rule-breaker with a secret to hide that could cost her everything. After tension boils over into an ugly fight late one night, the sisters go off in separate directions. Like most of their blowouts, they think they'll cool off and resume the trip like normal the next morning. Only this time, when dawn comes, a young woman's body is discovered in the lake. As a criminal investigation narrows in on their family home, it becomes clear that the sisters' web of lies and secrets is inextricably linked to the woman in the lake. And I think this is one that kind of intrigued me to see if the writing held up. The Midnight Show by Lee Kelly and Jennifer Thorne. In the 1980s, women were not supposed to be funny, but when a group of college improv comedians gets the chance to join a late-night show, it's Lillian Martin who stands out. The new show was called The Midnight Show, and it would air every Friday night live from New York and change the landscape of TV and comedy forever. But first, it would change Lillian's and her friends' lives. When the show becomes a runaway hit, the cast is thrown into the spotlight. Suddenly, they're skipping the line at the city's hottest clubs and posing on the cover of Rolling Stone. Lillian, in particular, seems destined for bigger things, until one winter night in Lower Manhattan, she vanishes, leaving nothing behind but questions. Was Lillian a victim of her own excesses? Was it a mugging gone wrong? Or could she have been killed by someone in her own inner circle? 40 years later, Lillian's disappearance has still never been solved, but when a budding journalist Looking to examine Lillian's story from a modern lens begins asking questions, she stirs up decades-old drama, as well as tightly held secrets some comedy legends would much rather stay buried. A propulsive story of fame and friendship told through a variety of media, compiled interviews, articles, transcripts, etc. I'm intrigued. Ali Condi has a new one. The Girls' Trip. Hope, Ash, and Caro met at an online book club. Over the past 2 years, they've been there for each other in every way except in person. When each of their lives reach a crossroads, they decide to meet in real life at the gorgeous Sonnet Resort at Eden National Park. Hope, an actress, has become entirely too famous and needs to get away from it all. Ash, a successful online entrepreneur, isn't sure what has happened to her marriage. Caro, a doctor, has lost a patient and doesn't know if she wants to carry on or start all over. And none of them are telling each other the full story. ... So did something happen? Why is this a thriller? End of that row. The Escape Game by Marissa Meyer and Tamara Moss. It's all fun and games until someone ends up dead. 6 months ago, Season 4 of The Escape Game ended in horror when contestant Alicia Angelos was found murdered on set. Now Season 5 is underway and new contestants are ready to put their skills to the test, solving the show's trickiest escape rooms. There's Addie, the cryptographer, Carter, the math whiz, Beck, the wannabe game master, and Sierra Angelos, the girl who got away with her sister's murder, or so everyone believes. But Sierra's not just here to win, she's here for justice. When the contestants begin uncovering clues that hint at the identity of Alicia's true killer, it becomes clear that the stakes aren't high just in this competition, they're deadly. If these teens want to win and survive the game, they must solve the biggest mystery of all. Who killed Alicia Angelos? Well, that sounds interesting too. I must be getting into a thriller phase. This is my thriller era for a week or so, maybe. The Ending Writes Itself. This is a debut mystery from Evelyn Clark. What does that mean? The brilliant and diabolical creation of Kat Clark and V.E. Schwab. So have they... Okay, I guess they've collaborated for this pseudonym? I don't know. Arthur Fletch, one of the world's best-selling novelists, is a reclusive genius known for his iconic protagonists and fiendish twists. When 6 struggling authors are invited to spend a weekend on his private Scottish island, as they do have always, they arrive to discover a shocking secret. Arthur Fletch is dead, and his last book is unfinished. Desperate to publish the novel, Fletch's agent and editor have summoned these writers in the hope that one of them will imagine a worthy ending for this final book. To sweeten the deal, they are offering an irresistible prize. In addition to ghostwriting the last chapter for a mind-boggling sum, they will also help the lucky writer successfully relaunch their own career, guaranteeing future bestsellers. The catch: the writers have just 72 hours to finish Fletch's magnum opus. It's the perfect plot. All it needs is a killer ending. And I guess people will die. They're not really telling us a lot in this row. This row is very... There's a bright cover. The Dead Can't Make a Living, 5th in a Taipei night market novel. Excuse me. Jing Nan, the owner of the most popular food stand in Taipei's world-famous Shilin night market, is hauling trash after a successful evening of hawking Taiwanese delicacies to tourists when he finds a corpse propped up against the dumpsters, as one does. The dead man turns out to be Juan Ramos, a Philippine national who came to Taiwan for a job at a massive ZHD food processing plant. Jingnan is haunted by Ramos' story and by the heartbreak of his family who arrive in Taipei looking for answers. ZHD has a history of safety violations, and activists have a hunch Ramos' death might be part of a cover-up. Meanwhile, Jingnan's gangster uncle, Big Eye, has his own mysterious, probably illegal reasons for being concerned about what's going on in ZHD. He pressures Jingnan into a daring and risky mission, going undercover as a migrant laborer to get a job at the food processing plant and reporting back about the conditions inside. Jingnan hopes to find out the truth for the Ramos family and to save other immigrant lives, but first he has to survive the spy operation. Staged Evidence by Tracy Hunter Abramson, second in the Pen and Dagger series. When Tessa Seidel discovers costumes to a Manhattan television studio late at night, she expects an empty set. She delivers costumes to. Not a murder scene. After stumbling upon a woman's body and nearly being attacked by a man fleeing the scene, Tessa escapes with no idea who to trust and a fear that the killer knows who she is. Desperate, she runs to a family's beach house in the Hamptons, as one does, where Broadway playwright Parker Sawyer is retreating to finish his next script, but he knows danger when he sees it and offers to shelter Tessa, even when they find out she is being accused of committing the murder. Well, go tell them you're a witness. Back in Manhattan, CIA operatives Kimber Seidel and Brandon Hale realize Tessa is being framed. But with a powerful suspect manipulating the investigation, clearing Tessa's name won't be easy. If they can't unravel the truth in time, Tessa won't just be the prime suspect, she'll be the next victim. That is a stupid setup. I've had it. End of that row. In the Shadow of the Tower by Martin Hill Ortiz, third in the Skyline Murder Mysteries. Miami, 1933. The nation is in the grip of the Great Depression, and former New York World reporter Alan Priest is struggling to survive as a freelance journalist. His wife, Lorraine, once a sought-after magazine model, is watching her own career fade with the times. Together they are drawn into a dangerous investigation that reaches far beyond headlines and photographs. When Alan and Lorraine uncover a mob conspiracy to assassinate President-elect Franklin D. Roosevelt, they find themselves racing against time and against forces far more powerful than they imagined. To stop the plot, the intrepid pair must navigate a maze of corruption, betrayal, and shifting loyalties, battling ruthless gangsters and questioning even those who claim to be allies. With history hanging in the balance and no one they can fully trust, Alan and Lorraine must risk everything to prevent a murder that would alter the course of the nation. Harmless Women by Rebecca Sharp. Avalon Dale is a masterful grifter. She researches her victims thoroughly, kidnaps and sedates them, cleans out their bank accounts, and uses injections and hair clippers to change their appearance so that when they wake up, they can't easily prove who they are. That's just mean. For her last great score, Avalon's targeted Primrose Meath, and then she'll fade away to a life of ease and luxury, something she's dreamed of since a very tough childhood. On paper, Prim is the perfect target, wealthy, workaholic, and distracted by her cheating husband. But when Avalon finds Prim's husband dead, she can't escape so easily. Not when she's been mistaken for Prim, who's now wanted for murder. The two women, opposites, enemies, are suddenly on the run together, and they must learn to get along, to depend on each other in order to get away. And then what starts as a cat and mouse run to the coast of England becomes a fight for their survival. I have thoughts, but I'm not going to say them because I've already been really snarky today. Gunner by Alan Parks, second in the Joseph Gunner thrillers. March 1941. Joseph Gunner is back on the streets of Glasgow after being wounded on the front lines in France. Keeping the pain in his leg at bay with the help of morphine, Gunner, a former detective, is hoping to lie low as the Luftwaffe begins bombing Glasgow. But when he runs into his old boss Drummond, he's persuaded to help examine a body found in the wreckage. When it turns out to be that of a German mutilated to disguise his identity, Gunner reluctantly agrees to investigate. As he begins to hunt for the truth, Gunner runs into old flames and bitter enemies before finding himself embroiled in a high-level conspiracy that reaches far beyond his hometown of Glasgow. This is inspired by the true story of Rudolf Hess's secret mission to broker appeasement with Britain during World War II, etc. And that is all we have for this week in the thrillers and crime fiction. I was going to say some of these are incredibly implausible, but then I think about we have cozy mysteries in the double digits of people who keep solving murders in their neighborhood, and how implausible is that? So I'm interested in the Midnight Show, maybe the Escape Game, and maybe the Heather Graham. I think that's all that has caught my attention on these. Alright, so on Friday we'll look at the rest of the cozy mysteries, and we might have to do drive-bys with that because there are a lot. There are a lot left. Mary says, good morning, PK, Bobby, and Elena. Good morning. Happy Wednesday, late but here. It's good to see you. 31 this morning here in Virginia. Nippy. Sunny and going to be a pretty day. Aw, good, good, good. And had a good volunteer time at the library yesterday. Good. Picked out a book called The Hitch by Sarah Levine. Levine has a corgi in it. Oh, and won't go into the plot. Only 55 pages in, but very different and funny. Well, awesome. Don't you love it when it's like outside your box that you would normally look at, and it's like, oh, I'm kind of liking this. And Mary says, Bobby, how did your interview go? I hope well. We asked last night on Sprints, and he said he didn't get the job. So, but I did say, well, it gives you experience for the next one. And Mary says, Cajun, I missed you. Sorry about that. Glad to see you. Yeah, Cajun usually listens in at work, but she's usually not able to do anything in the comments. So, yes. Alrighty, well, again, I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Wednesday night. Our next sprints are tomorrow night, Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for 2 hours. We do every Tuesday and Thursday evening, Saturday afternoons. I'm currently reading or listening to audiobook of The Other Boleyn Sister. I can't remember the author at the moment, and I'm enjoying it. The BBC did a mini-series of it. I wanted to read the book before watching it. I think it's being released in the U.S. sometime in May, so that's what I am mainly listening to. Plus, I'm reading, I love, one of my guilty pleasures is the girl books. I don't know what kind of category you would call them. Written in the 40s and 50s, like Rosamund Dujardin, my favorite. And right now I'm reading some by Anne Emery. So that's what I'm reading right now. Alrighty, well, thank you, thank you. Let's change the banner. I hope you are well. And Mary, it's go day. We'll see if my prediction was right or not. All right. Thank you, thank you. Have a good day. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day. God bless.